Dan, I want to talk to you because I'm concerned about you because I've been thinking about this during the break, and we've discussed this for a while now on the show. But journalism, as we know it, as you know it, what you wanted to do when you were a little kid, okay, it has changed. It has. It's changed, okay? You're not wrong. Stephen A. Smith is not wrong. You have to adapt sometimes, okay? Because the game has changed, your priorities have shifted. No one cares how someone goes and gets the news that they get, as long as the news is accurate, as long as it's coming from a credible place. If it's Woj, if it's Adam Schefter, if it's you, if it's Diana Rossini, if it's Shams, nobody cares. You might care. Greg Cody might care. Stephen A. Smith might care. But you know what? You all sold out. Every single one of you. Okay? Stephen A. Smith jumped inside the circus tent. I don't blame him. Why'd he do it? Because he had to do it. Because the game has changed. You jumped inside the circus tent. You did. You did so with me. Think about that. With me and with Greg Cody every Tuesday, okay? And so you have ditched journalism a long, long time ago because why? Survival of the fittest, Dan. You have to change with the times. You have to roll with the changing environment, roll with the changing industry, and that's what you decided to do. That's what Stephen A. decided to do. And for Woj, for guys like him, the game has changed slightly, where he went out and he sought reports, and he wanted to be the reporter. And you know what? If now he has morphed into a mouthpiece for the Blazers, I'm okay with it. I am good with it. I don't care.
Survival of the fattest.
Everyone, exactly. Everyone is selling out to make a buck.
What a terrible timing.
It was great.
Like that joke.
Hey, just give it up. You all want to be journalists. You're not journalists anymore. None of you. Not a one of you. Sorry.
You didn't even hear the joke.
I did. Survival of the fattest. It was great.
It just could have been done after Stugotz stopped talking, Dan.
Right.
Yeah.
Shoehorn that
But
in.
I'm okay. I'm okay
you're
with
splitting
it.
hairs.
Right.
Okay.
You adapt, you roll with things, man. That's it. You know, Dan, you started off, you know, if you're a driver, you drove a yellow cab and you were loyal to the yellow cab. You know what? But the game has changed to Uber, to Lyft, to private driving. And you know what? You have to ditch the yellow cab and you have to drive an Uber. Why? Because you'll make more money. Why? Because more people are taking Uber than the dirty yellow cabs. That's why. That's what you do. No one cares about journalism. You know what they care about? Laughing, being entertained. And you do a great job of that. And Stephen A. Smith does a great job of that. No one cares about journalism. People care about smiling. That's it.
You know, this morning I found myself while I was driving Claire to school. I told her, you know, you ask a lot of questions. You should be a journalist. And now here in this conversation, I just, you know what? Don't be a journalist. Like,
exactly.
Do something else.
It's over.
Sad.
You're going to let Stugotz parent your daughter. You think that's a good idea?
You think journalism is a good occupation to choose now?
No, I would not. Listen, not only is it not a good occupation to choose, I have looked around Miami and realized we're the only ones providing the jobs we're presently providing. I heard local TV reporters are making $45,000 a year.
Huh.
I couldn't believe that. That's how bad local television is struggling. That's the place that has arrived. And I told Chris Cody not to get into this business at all because it's terrible.
But Stephen A. Smith is making more money than he's ever made in his entire life. He has more power. He has more of everything than he's ever had in his entire life. You want him to give that up because of journalism? Like, get out of here.
I believe you can do both. You're being very
How?
Absolute about this. First of all, he does. He does reporting, does journalism. He is very credible. When he gives information, it's not like Skip Bayless giving information. There is a difference. Skip Bayless also allegedly a journalist, but he's been contaminated by this thing and distorted by it in ways that are even more poisonous because he doesn't do any reporting anymore. Like, he doesn't talk to people in a way that's informed. Stephen A. actually goes to things, has relationships, and certainly when he's talking about basketball, if Stephen A. gives you information that's not opinion, you trust that it's informed.
No doubt, but every time he does that show, Dan, his journalistic, every single episode, his journalistic integrity, it shreds away. Little by little, piece by piece, it just does. He is doing a debate show debating the most ridiculous topics in the history of sports. Like, it has to affect your credibility.
Stugotz, it has happened.
And you sitting next to me does not help. I mean,
or my dad or Cody, because I said
Cody?
to myself, generations of Codys, because I did say to myself, this is one of the things I find funny about Stephen A. and thinking that he and I do the same thing, because once I got to PTI and it was argument television, I said I'd like to try to do it differently, but I guess that sounds highfalutin. I don't want to do debate shows. Period. I don't want to do argument shows.
Well, you guys are doing one right now.
yeah.
Ron Magill joins us now, as he does every Tuesday. Always happy to see him. What's going on right now at this minute with animal news, Ron? Have you had to rush out for any emergency? A gorilla needs to have his appendix removed? Anything at the zoo happening right now this minute that has caused you emergency?
Nothing at the zoo. You know, we had a bear walking through Homestead here a couple of days ago that created mass panic in the southern community because people weren't used to seeing a bear walking through Homestead. But, you know, they got over that. The bear's been relocated and nobody got hurt.
That's where Felica's been.
How often is that?
Oh, that's terrifying.
How often is that happening, Ron? Or I should
bear?
say, I don't know how. That looks like a skinny bear and a hungry bear. Yes, you have said before that a lot of these animals are ending up in places that they shouldn't end up because you know, things are weird in the wilderness. But give me the example or the strangest one you've seen recently in the United States of an animal being someplace that they weren't supposed to be.
You know, I don't know if he used the term where they're not supposed to be. I think the term is more like where they're not usually seen because, you know, an animal can be anywhere it can be where it's going to get food. It's going to get some kind of substance. And this bear, basically, this is probably at the top of my list right now. The last time we saw a bear this far south was about 1.5 years ago. We had a bear walking through Cutler Bay, again, causing the same kind of panic because people had this envision that this bear is going to be like, you know, the cocaine bear and is going to come out and kill everybody right away. And the fact of the matter is this bear is more frightened of people than the people are of it. And like we mentioned, you know, we saw a lot of people doing what we've taught on this show now for years. Don't run your way. Don't turn your back. Put your hand up. Hey, bear. Hey, bear. I saw some kids on the news kind of doing that after they saw me give a little lesson over the air. So people are learning now. And I think that's a key thing, that people are learning how to live alongside this wildlife. Don't panic when they see it and start changing their behavior. Don't leave their garbage cans open. Don't leave your pet food out in the yard all day. These are all things that are going to draw these animals to easy meals.
Ron, the question is, in Cutler Bay and Homestead, I've never heard of a bear being there, and that's so far away south from any place a bear would be. What do they do? Is that like an escape from a private collection? I know there's a couple of them down in Homestead.
A vacation, maybe?
Where the hell did he come from?
You know, it's hard to say, Tony. I think there is always a possibility that could have been someone's animal that they had in their yard and got away. Like you said, there are some of those rehab facilities down south, but none of them reported that bear missing. So, you know, assuming they're all permitted, they would have to report if it was missing. There is still a possibility it could have just kind of meandered on down there, coming down through Everglades National Park, come down through the bay, and just kind of worked its way into that neighborhood. That's not unheard of. And we're going to see more of this as time goes on, because the bear population in Florida, where we're hearing about all these animals, you know, populations decreasing and becoming threatened and endangered, the bear population in Florida is actually increasing. There's probably over 3,500 bears now in the state of Florida, and they're starting to spread out. This is one of the most adaptable animals you could ever be around. These animals can, you know, make food out of almost anything. They're omnivores. They're not like this massive carnivore, like, let's say, a polar bear or a grizzly bear that's going to feed mostly on meat. These black bears feed basically on flowers, seeds, fruits, garbage, pet food. They love that stuff. They'll occasionally take a mouse, a rodent, and maybe a bird and some eggs, things like that. But their primary diet is not a carnivore diet. So these are bears that are going to become very, very acclimated to areas. They can become habituated to people. We hope people don't feed them. You know, there's an old saying that says a fed bear is a dead bear, because once a bear loses its natural fear of people, that's when it becomes dangerous.
The Bears are banging. So tell me about what happened last night to me, because my wife cares deeply about the animals, and I am driving home from a restaurant through the inner city. I am far away from water, and we see a blue heron. And she became very concerned because she says those are never very far away from water. What is that doing here? It must be lost. It must be hurt, or it must be out of its mind. Is that strange at all to you, or is it normal? I'm like, because I was explaining to her, we're just a mile from the beach. It could fly. It can fly over there. It's not that far, but it was weird to see it in an alley, with some people who were, walking around that, going through the dumpsters.
Yeah. Now, I will explain to you that blue herons are an incredibly adaptable bird. And even when you're driving through the inner city, Dan, keep in mind that there is a myriad of canals that goes throughout the inner city. And those canals provide food for these herons. Now, people look at the blue heron, they assume that they're just fish eaters. Couldn't be further from the truth. Blue herons are also opportunistic feeders, and I'm going to probably make some people cringe a little bit here. One of the last things I photographed blue heron doing was killing and eating a full-grown marsh rabbit. And the way I found out was I heard this horrific scream, this, and I'm going to where the scream is thinking, what is this? What is this? And it's this heron piercing with its beak like a sword, this little rabbit that it then took down and swallowed whole and flew away. It blew me away. These herons are thugs. They will go out there and they they're thugs.
They've resulted to thuggery.
Blue herons are thugs. They will kill and eat whatever they can. They have a very powerful bill. They are adaptive. They will eat garbage out of a dumpster. They will eat rodents whenever they can get them. So these are adaptable animals. Just because you don't see it standing alongside the water doesn't mean that it doesn't have quick access. Like you said, a mile away from the beach is nothing by air. So it's something where, again, it could also be adapting to the canal system. The canals here in Florida, many of them may not be filled with fish, but they're full of rodents and other animals that these herons can eat.
I didn't know Dan Heron was a blue jay.
Yep.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Wait. Thank you.
Tried to feed that one to me too. I mean,
not enough.
you gave yourself the laugh.
What are you doing?
What happened?
You're going to go sit in the penalty box is
Wow.
what happened
Whoa.
for doing bad things with the control. Get out of here.
How about the bad joke?
Quit executive producing the show. Leave immediately. And let your father, the most illustrious Cody, ask Ron Magill a question.
Ron, for this question, I want you to pick whatever.
This is a new and unimproved Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz. Gamble on by DraftKings.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju. Did you know the Blue Heron was a thug at Le Batard Show?
It's a bit harsh.
I didn't know that. I can't believe that he's saying that. But Greg Cody, you were saying before you were so rudely interrupted.
Yeah, Ron, for this question, I want you to pick a breed of bear, a type of bear that's comparably dangerous with the other animals I'm going to list. Viral question on Twitter. Which of these 4 animals could you survive 20 minutes with? And the animals are a tiger, a bear, an alligator, or a hippopotamus. Put them in order from dangerous to most survivable.
Most dangerous would be a tiger. After that would be the bear. After that would be the hippo, and then the gator.
Wow.
And how likely are you in these scenarios to be able to survive the 20 minutes? How long? Let's do it reverse order. With the gator, I might be able to survive 20 minutes, right? Because I can move around it.
Yes, exactly. I think the gator gives you the best chance of survival. The other 3, for surviving, I'm going to say it's going to be the bear, because a bear will claw and bite, but it doesn't have that instinct of killing. I will say after that, it's going to be the hippo, because the hippo is going to just crush you. It's just going to bite and crush you, and that's going to be pretty quick. And then right away is going to be the tiger, because the tiger is physically designed to kill instantly. It's going to grab you right behind your neck, and it's going to have the canine go through and sever your spinal cord. You'll be dead in a second, so you won't even have 30 seconds with a tiger.
But Ron, I feel like I can run circles around a hippo. Like, what am I doing there? I feel like I could just outrun the hippo.
Yeah, me too.
And that's how incredibly misinformed you are, Stugotz. A hippo will run at 35 miles an hour and outrun you, especially you, in a heartbeat.
Right.
I don't know, Ron. If you gave me a laser pointer and I just went pss, 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 enough, I feel like I could get past the tiger.
Okay, well, you take your razor point and your butter knife with your giraffe and all that other stuff that you guys do that you think you can defend yourself. And let me sell tickets to that because I think we'll have a lot of people watch you die.
Is it not Jesus? That escalated quickly.
Weird.
Is it not?
See that?
Is it not possible to have a big cat behave like a small cat, where you could distract it with like a ribbon or something? No. No, it's not. Is it not? Is it not possible? Yes.
I don't know. My cat looks just like those cats.
I'm asking you though. Do they have any? You're laughing in her face. You're laughing uproariously. The Zoom does not catch just how much you're laughing and how loud that laughter is.
Ribbon in front of a tiger. That's just
Ron, the medical scalpel that I would use to split a hair, is that enough or big enough of a defensive weapon to save me against any of these 4 animals?
No.
Okay.
A scalpel?
Yeah, I mean, nothing is sharper than a scalpel. No blade on earth is sharper than a scalpel.
How fast and surgical do you believe yourself to be with it, though?
Pretty good. I mean, pretty good.
It's still you holding the scalpel, though.
I know, but like let's say the tiger is the most dangerous of these 4. The tiger swipes his paw at me, and the scalpel gets into the pad of that paw, and all of a sudden the tiger is recoiling. He's yelping, and he's thinking to himself, this may be another tiger. Looks like a human being. Might be another tiger because he just scratched me with what feels like a sharp claw, but it was a scalpel. And then the tiger reacts. It cowers, and the 20 minutes have gone by, and I'm walking out the door on 2 legs.
Not going to happen there, Greg, because the scalpel, first of all, is the surgical scalpel which you describe is not even long enough to get through.
Yeah, it's about 6 inches.
Oh, here he goes. Here he goes. Get under the giraffe. Do what you're going to do there, Chris. There you go, buddy. There you go.
Ron, the giant panda gave birth to twins last week, and I'm thinking, okay, climate change. This animal rarely gives birth nowadays. Like, how has climate change affected mating within the animal population?
Well, it's affected mating in the sense that it's affected the animals being able to survive in certain areas. I'll give you a classic example. Moose, for instance. Moose now are starting to move north because the climate is too warm where they are presently existing. They're starting to move north, and as they start to move north, they're finding it harder and harder to find each other, pairing with each other as they're trying to explore these new territories. Listen, we're kind of like in the infancy, really, when it comes to time and climate change. We don't know the long-term effects of climate change on fertility, on sperm counts, on all kinds of things that may end up proving to, really be detrimental to populations of various types of animals. We know it's affecting the things like plants blooming at the wrong time, so they're not providing food when butterflies come out of their cocoons. They've got nothing to feed on because the plants bloomed early and the flowers are now dead, so they have nothing to feed on. They therefore can't migrate north and keep pollinating other plants, and then those plants die. It's a whole domino effect of all kinds of things.
This climate change ain't affecting me. Give me some, Roy. Fist me, Roy.
No.
Fist him, Roy.
Tony, fist me.
What do you mean the climate change hasn't affected you?
It's not affecting me.
What are you talking about?
I think he's talking about in his mating rituals, the climate isn't affecting
Fist
him.
me?
Baby. That's what he said. Ron, at my apartment complex, there's an 8th story terrace that's like where the gym is, and there's like a little turf field outdoors that has a railing. I was working out there in the afternoon, and there was a big wind that came in. There was ants along the railing, those like big fire ants, and one of them flew off the railing because of the wind, and he fell 8 stories. Is he going to be okay, or was that kind of the end of it?
No, he's going to be okay. He's gonna be
What?
fine.
No way.
Absolutely.
Miracle ant.
Listen, I'll show you videos of cats falling 12 stories and walking away.
9 lives.
Well, the animals understand when it comes to mass, it's just a thing of physics, which I was never very good in. But the physics is when something doesn't weigh very much, it doesn't fall as hard. So mass versus resistance of the air coming down, those animals tend to survive pretty well.
Whatever happened to ant farms?
I know. I used to get those. Remember, they were at the back of like the Highlights magazine. You could order them. They come in. Yeah, I don't know. That was pretty cool stuff. I was fascinated.
Yeah, and the glass was fairly close together, and I always looked at. I had ant farms as a kid, but my first thought was, if any of these ants in the colony are the least bit claustrophobic, what a hellscape of a life.
I had one as a kid. God, I had one as a kid, but then a couple got out. My mom saw them in the house, and that was the end of that.
Yeah. We have the ghost dance in our house. I don't know.
Greg,
how to
we're
get
doing
rid
a
of 'em.
show here, not just a
He's
private
talking ghost
conversation
dance.
over
Yeah.
lunch
Private conversation
with
about
Ron.
animals.
I'm intrigued.
Together, we're doing a show with other people.
Okay,
and,
fine.
And we're all trying to talk to Ron and do
My
a
dad
show.
just like looks at his mic when
No,
he's
but-
talking.
no,
I mean,
Ghost
everybody's
dance,
got
I mean.
everybody's got ghost dance. Maybe Ron could inform people how they can get rid of a ghost dance without calling an expensive exterminator. That's all.
You know what? I'm with you, Greg. I wish I
Thank
knew.
you.
It'd make my wife very happy because she has these things they call them the sugar ants, the little tiny sugar ants. If
That's
you
what I'm
leave-
talking about.
Yeah, you leave out like a nice, apple croissant out there, literally within 5 seconds, where you've never seen an ant before in your house. There's 40,000 of those little sugar ants all around it. I don't know where they come from.
Hello. I mean, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
I wish I had the answer to that. I'd be a very wealthy man.
Yeah.
Good
What I
question.
will tell you is try to avoid
Stumped
using
you.
any kind of pesticides.
Yeah.
Don't use pesticides.
No. I eschew spray, aerosol sprays.
There you go. Thank you. Because my wife will see a roach and she'll look for the can of Raid and empty the flipping can of Raid on that roach. And it's like so ridiculous.
Oh yeah. No, I'd rather give him a deck shoe if you catch my drift.
There you go.
Yeah.
Or a flip flop. I use
Right.
the flip
Exactly. Right.
All right.
The
telling
old
you.
deck shoe.
Well, but this reminds me.
Uncle Deck.
Wow.
We're going to get hammered by all the roach lovers now. You know that, don't you?
Okay, I got broad shoulders, Ron.
Uncle Deck.
It was a good one.
Uncle Deck shoe.
Oh, this show is the highlight of my day, guys. Thank you. I needed this.
What was the other one's name? Declan? Or was Deck and Declan?
That's exactly right. God rest their soul. Souls.
Show killer.
Back to you, Dad.
Awkward silence.
Continue with your program.
I don't think. Put it on the poll, please, Juju. At Le Batard Show. Do you have any remorse whatsoever when you kill a roach? Valerie is horrified by cockroaches, and this is one of the few places where I am allowed to be a real man and go and kill something in order to protect her.
Grab that paper towel so it doesn't touch your hands.
Well,
Tissue paper flushes down the toilet.
But when he said
The old deck shoe.
Deck
Yeah.
shoe, Uncle Deck, yes. When he said that, it reminded me the other day of something that legitimately happened where she yelled and I came running into the room with a shoe, okay? And in my speed it was on the floor, skittering on the floor, I came in very quickly to kill it with a shoe, but missed slightly and sort of barrel rolled in. So now I'm rolling next to it, and she has to kill the cockroach, and I'm on the floor.
Were you in camouflage?
I'm not saying I did this well. I'm saying the momentum.
You're Rambo.
I'm not saying I barrel rolled.
Dan McClane.
No, you're getting this wrong. You have me barrel rolling and now ready for a second fight. No, what happened is my momentum carried me so that my shoulder was under my stomach, and now I've fallen on my back and am near the skittering roach, and she has to kill the roach because I've not combat rolled correctly. I've just done half a combat roll and just said, "Ow, that hurts my elbow." And now I'm near the bathroom, and it's going to take me a second to get up. I think I hurt my shoulder.
And I was coming towards you like, no!
Yeah, it was not great. It was not great.
How did she respond to your act?
I mean, she laughed at me. She laughed at me.
While killing it.
Yes, while killing it. And being slightly worried at the speed I hit the ground and the sound that it made. Slightly,
It's a lot of momentum.
Yeah, I was moving very fast.
Is the house in one piece? I mean,
Survival of the
Bowling
fattest.
ball.
Dan, this is why I have to get you the Bug Assault rifle so that you can actually be ready to go shooting salt pellets at cockroaches like this. Ron, real quick, there is a little cat, a little orange cat that has moved into a capybara facility at a Malaysian zoo. And I'm just wondering if the cat thinks it's a capybara, because I think that's the best case scenario.
Probably not. The cat is just kind of curious, looking for shelter, maybe kind of scoping on some of the food the capybara might get, even though capybara is a vegetarian, so I don't know what the cat would eat. But cats, again, maybe there's rodents. Oh, that's what it is. Probably there's rodents going into the exhibit to get the capybara food, and the cat is smart enough to say, I'm going to wait for that little rat to come in here to try to get that food, and then I'm going to get the rat. That's probably what's going on.
Ron, thank you for being on with us. We appreciate it, sir. We will talk to you next week. A reminder to the audience to contribute to the Ron Magill Substantive Endowment. He does a lot of very good work with the animals, and the money goes very straight. No bureaucracy. Ron Magill, straight to animal care. And also put on the poll, Juju, have you ever shot a roach with salt pellets?